So this is interesting. It all started out with getting a notification on my phone. I'm sitting there, I was at work, and my phone goes bleep and says, somebody's at your front door. Now I initially thought, okay, Debbie's at the house. She probably went to the trash. And I was still at work, so I was like not immediately, you know, checking on it. Wasn't expecting a package, wasn't expecting anything. So I, when I got a moment, opened up my app on my phone, looked at the video on the thing, and it wasn't Debbie. It was this person walking up to the front door, measuring across, going back, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, what the heck is that? So I'm like, all right. I text my landlord, and well, technically I text the son of my landlord. The guy who owns my house is like 94 years old, and hasn't been doing great in mental health, not mental, but in his physical health. And I normally, if there's anything going on with the house, I text his son. And I'm like, hey, somebody's at the door. Do you know what that's about? Well, come to find out, as I mentioned, the owner passed away, and I live in one of the houses, one of the many houses that he owned, and now they have the whole estate thing, and they have to figure out what they're gonna do. And the message I get back is, might be selling the house, so don't know. I'm like, you know, that was like, okay, what kind of time frame? No sooner than 60 to 90 days. I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So not exactly the way I anticipated starting out the new year. I was like rolling into 2018, finished pretty good. Hopefully yours finished pretty good too. And I was, you know, thinking that I would be thinking about other things other than potentially moving. It's kind of weird how all this stuff works, right? I think sometimes, the universe is testing us. It's throwing things, you know, throwing curveballs to see if we're gonna be able to deal with it. I gotta admit, that threw me for a loop. I was not a happy camper when that happened. Kind of frustrating because, you know, Debbie and I were gonna go out, do something, go get something to eat or do whatever. And I was just stressed. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta move? Where am I gonna move? You know, what am I gonna do? You know, I mean, can I buy a house? As most of you guys know, going through a divorce, even though I'm 6 years into it, there's a financial hit, a pretty damn big one, that pretty much wipes out the the typical thing is your credit's destroyed, your credit, your credit cards and everything are all maxed out to pay for things, and you don't exactly have a lot of money. And that's kind of the situation I'm in. So I did jump on my phone and grab my phone and went calvet.gov. I happen to be a veteran, as you guys know, so applied for or started the process to see if I can even get a loan to buy a house. So I don't know about that one, we'll have to see. And now it's just a matter of taking a step back. But the thing I wanted to hit on this, the pivot and the shift to where I am in my life. Now I'll tell you, a few years ago, or even 10 years ago, or hell, even 4 years ago, if this would have happened, I would have been completely freaked out. Like I mentioned, I was a little freaked out. You know, I'm still a little apprehensive. But back in the day, this would have been a seriously catastrophic event. I would have been incredibly nervous and tense about this entire thing. Now, I still am a little, but I'm also kind of excited about what's gonna happen. I think that's a good indicator of how things change in these situations, and as you start to release all the toxicity from your life and you start to embrace the possibility of the future, which I've talked about in other videos, but this is kind of like a big test for me. This is one of those things where I'm like, how is this gonna work out, right? The thing on this is that I think it's gonna be okay. And actually earlier today, I did get an opportunity to talk to the owner's son. I'm like, hey, I have my rent check. Can I bring it by so we can have a conversation? So he came by and was able to chat with him and get a better idea of what's going on. And yes, there are some changes that are happening, and more than likely, the bottom line is that they're either selling the house, and if they don't sell the house, if they make a deal for me to stay here, my rent's going up significantly. I get it, because I'll tell you that since I jumped on the computer and started looking for places to rent, where I'm at, there's like maybe 3 or 4 places, and they are pretty scary. And the prices for those places are significantly higher than this place, and they're smaller. So it's really bad timing. But when I talked to him today, he's like, well, it's gonna be a few months, and he's not completely super aggressive on the way things are doing it. He's managing the trust. So my point about this, and this is one, is just to kind of capture the emotion I was in. I should have frickin' pointed a camera at me when I was completely freaking out, but I didn't. Wasn't on my mind. I was basically kind of going, oh my God, what am I gonna do? How is this gonna play out? Am I gonna have to move? Can I buy this place? Can I buy another place? Where am I gonna come up with the first and last month's rent? And I mean, all these different things were just like, oh dear God, oh dear God. I mean, it's kind of scary. My point on this is, I'm kind of excited about the possibility, right? I knew things were gonna start to change. I knew 2019 was gonna be different. There's a lot of interesting things. The really crazy part about this is the day before this happened, I had a conference call or a conference text where it was somebody talking about some things that are gonna try to work on that could be pretty exciting. So we're all based around the channel, so I'm excited about that. More to come on that, we'll see what happens. But so, I mean, the channel could be expanding and ways for it to grow, which would be awesome. I just didn't think I was gonna have to be worrying about this. And the thing I wanna mention to you guys is, for the most part, we always come out okay. It may not be the way we expected. I guarantee you this is not the way I expected. I was gonna be starting 2019. I had different ideas on how that was gonna play out. Everything in my life, I mean, I'm 48 years old right now. Everything has, even no matter how scary, how stressful it's been, it's always worked out. And I'd ask you to look at your situation and see if maybe that's the same case for you. Now, I know that these things are really catastrophic with the relationships and the divorces and stuff like that, but sometimes you have to go through some troubling times to get to some better times. And that has absolutely been my experience throughout my life, and definitely through this divorce. I mean, there have been some really tough times, but I've met some really amazing people. I've met some amazing people on the channel. Even before that, before the channel was even a thing, there were new people I was introduced to, new relationships I've had, new people I've met that have really enriched my life, and they've been really wonderful. And sometimes when you're in the midst of it, you don't really see that. So I'll be obviously videoing a little bit more about this, and maybe adding a little vloggy thing to the whole channel thing. I figured this might be a good thing to cover, because some things are changing, right? I'm either this whole set is moving, or maybe not, but things are changing this year. So on that, just wanted to share with that. If you have some ideas, leave them in the comments below. I need some good ideas to deal with this. So would appreciate that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel and you think what I do is helpful, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so that YouTube will tell you about videos. And I'll chat with you on the next video. Take care.